After watching the celebration day 2 today, I watched the stream. I'm super excited for um, Ivana Sakno's character. She's the girl that is tearing it up with her red or orange lightsaber.
Yeah, it looks
but
orange to me. I don't know
Yep.
why.
Yeah,
but-
and that's I want to talk about that in a second too. But I really like the panel with her and the other actor she was with. I can't remember. But it sounds like she has like a really cool backstory, and I was speculating that she was gonna be the apprentice to Balin, and so that's confirmed. But also she talked about, and this will lead us into the lightsaber talk, which everyone's talking about online too. But she talked about how there is, this concept of the light side and the dark side, but they're trying to focus more on, the in between, especially for her character, and then like why that is, and that her like upbringing or her backstory, it's supposed to be kind of deep. She's supposed to have gone through some difficult things. So I'm really, looking forward to seeing her character. Yeah, I was really excited after watching that panel today. But yeah, and everyone's talking about, the orange saber. What are your guys' thoughts? Because personally, I think we're headed in this direction of, I think they're probably dark Jedi, and this, it would kind of make sense because Ahsoka is basically a gray Jedi, even though in new canon that concept of a gray Jedi isn't like really a fixed concept, but I think it basically will be here soon. What do you guys think? What do you think, Adrian?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess I'm kind of in the wait and see mode. All I can say is I do really like the way both of them looked. I actually, definitely, to your point, Jake, it definitely looked like kind of a play on the Vader scene where he's walking through that hall. But I mean, he looked pretty darn imposing to me. Like, he definitely had the presence, so I'm like, I like the way he looked.
Yeah.
As for the dark Jedi or gray Jedi thing, yeah, I'm hearing that seems to be the most likely theory out there, is that with the orange sabers, they represent somewhere in between. But I don't know. I kind of hope they don't use either of those two terms. I feel like those terms are kind of more Star Wars fan terms than Star Wars terms at this point. So I guess we'll see.
And do you not like, is it because you don't really like the names, or is it just kind of something where you kind of like the mystery behind it, or a little bit like the element that like we just don't really need to put a label on it necessarily?
No, like I'm fine if they, they put whatever label, give themselves whatever name. I just feel like the fandom in general has been like clamoring for that and using those terms specifically, that it just feels a little weird to me, like it feels a little bit more I don't know, like kind of breaks the immersion a little bit, I guess. Like just think of something new, like be creative, don't just use a term that fans have been throwing around. So
Well, I mean, I believe I get what you're saying. I believe that the term Gray Jedi was in older canon, like Legends.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I think so too. Yeah, actually, now that you say that.
But yeah, a brand new name could be cool, especially for Balin and his apprentice. That could be interesting. Did you have any thoughts on the saber, Jake?
I like it. Orange is one of my favorite colors, so that's
Same.
cool. Yeah, I'm down with that. I think you're probably right. Seems like they're not full like red lightsabers, but they don't have like any traditional blue, green, or purple lightsaber, or yellow even for the guards, or even white like Ahsoka has. So I think it's like an in-betweener where they probably were once Jedi or something, and they're like fallen Jedi. So
yeah, they're definitely orange when you compare it to it looked like a Inquisitor saber that lights up, and that's very clearly red. So you compare those two colors, they're definitely orange.
Yeah.
So Star Wars Theory was kind of talking about how, and we don't have to talk about the saber too much longer, but he was saying how maybe the crystal could have been bled, which I don't know if you guys are familiar with this, but this is a new thing in Star Wars canon, fairly new. But dark side users can like bleed a crystal and change its color. And so he was saying maybe it was like bled from like a green saber or something like that to make the orange. That could be interesting because we haven't seen that happen on screen yet. So we'll see.
I mean, that's what Ahsoka did to her her sabers. They were Inquisitor sabers, or they were red, I'm pretty sure, and she changed them to white. I don't know if she bled them per se, but yeah, that's how she got her white sabers. So
yeah. All right. Well, if there's not much more on Ahsoka, we can move on